The officer who fired the shot stood frozen in place, but he quickly escalated the situation even further. In a panic, he began frantically searching the wounded man, desperately trying to find any weapon that could justify his actions. Despite the man's critical injuries, the white officer still treated him like a criminal, cuffing his hands behind his back. He hoped to find some kind of weapon to support his case, but all he discovered was a cell phone. The victim's wife and daughter were already traumatized. Only then did the white officer realize the man he'd shot was no longer breathing. Yet this kind of discriminatory policing continued elsewhere. Two men who were simply acting a bit rowdy after drinking caught the attention of a white officer who demanded to see their IDs. However, one of the men was also a police officer and didn't realize he was being racially profiled. This made the white officer think he was being challenged, so he threatened them to shut up and comply. The black officer couldn't tolerate such unreasonable demands from a fellow cop and immediately got into an argument with him. When the gun on his hip became visible, it only made the white officer more nervous. No explanation mattered at that point. Soon both injured officers were rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, the black officer only sustained minor injuries, but the white officer who started the confrontation wasn't so lucky. He didn't survive. His family couldn't accept this outcome. The white officer's father quickly went to the police chief, demanding answers while conveniently ignoring the fact that his son had fired first. But with a death involved, an investigation was inevitable. The black officer gave an honest account of that night's events, while another white officer's testimony was suspiciously similar. The department had no choice but to suspend the black officer pending the court's final decision. The court ruled that as a detective, the black officer was guilty of involuntary manslaughter. They immediately revoked his badge and sentenced him to community service. But as a police officer, he naturally had people willing to stand up for him. An investigator determined to prove his innocence decided to find inconsistencies in the white officer's statements. He privately approached the white officer who was there that night, but he turned out to be another racist who wanted to see even harsher punishment handed down. He refused to budge. The frustrated investigator pinned him against the wall. After repeated warnings, the white officer finally told the truth. When the investigator brought the recording back to the station, everything was finally resolved. The black officer was cleared of wrongdoing, but the civilian killed by the white officer never got justice. The white officer claimed the black man had resisted arrest and that he'd mistaken the phone gesture for reaching for a gun, which is why he fired. His colleague backed up his false testimony, and the white officer was quickly acquitted. When the law fails to deliver justice, victims seek other means. The dead man's brother prepared to take revenge personally, even if it meant spending the rest of his life in prison. The situation began to escalate further. White officers started rounding up any black people they deemed threatening, using illegal assembly as their excuse. This naturally sparked outrage, and physical confrontations immediately broke out. In that critical moment, another white officer opened fire without hesitation. The wounded man scrambled to find help from his companions. When the white officers caught up, they realized everyone was armed. Not wanting to be at a disadvantage, they had to abandon the arrest. With multiple similar incidents occurring recently, the tension between the two sides grew even worse. The situation spiraled further out of control. To learn more about the story, please watch the movie Equal Standard.